Welcome to the real world. My name is Cameron, joined by Anthony on this very special
Hello.
video. This is one where we're talking all about Deadpool and Wolverine, the
Yes.
new big movie. It's broken all kinds of records already. I don't know if you've heard, it made like 98 million opening day.
Wow.
It's
That's
on
cool.
on track for a $200 million opening weekend, which would be the biggest ever for an R-rated movie. One of the biggest of all time, one of the biggest Marvel movies in years. So this was highly anticipated. I mean, people
Yes.
were so excited about this movie. So we're going to talk all about it. We're going to get deep into spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, this is probably not the review for you. But if you've seen it and you want to talk about all the insanity that transpired in the
Yes.
movie, this is the video for you. Let's get started. Thank you for joining us here on the Real World Podcast. Make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos. We're all about movies. And today we're all about Deadpool and Wolverine, the latest Marvel Studios production, starring Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine
Yes.
after years.
At least
So
seven.
I
Seven
think you're right.
years.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
7 years since Logan. That was his last one.
Oh,
So very highly anticipated movie. People everywhere are talking about it. Comic-Con was this weekend, which only added to the insanity
yeah.
of this movie. And I think they actually showed it for Hall H. Everyone in Hall H got to
hmm
see the movie with the cast. So Hugh Jackman was there, Ryan Reynolds was
Okay.
there, Kevin Feige, a couple of
Okay.
other people that we'll mention in just a minute, which was very exciting. So we got to talk about this movie. It's one of those that everyone is just, again, talking about it all week. So let's start off. What we're going to do is just kind of give you our general impressions of the film, and then we'll go right through the plot, the whole story. We'll kind of break it all down in detail, all the cameos, all the surprises, all the action moments, everything. So um, I know you're a huge Deadpool fan.
Yes. Yes, I am. I'm
So
wearing the red,
he's
so.
he's in the red,
Uh-huh.
he wore the red suit so the bad guys can't see him bleed. Um, so I'm a little bit on the other end. I'm not a huge Deadpool fan. I've never really liked the comics. I think the character works best when he's in a team setting. That's why I
Yeah.
actually prefer Deadpool 2 to Deadpool 1. I think Deadpool 2 is a better movie because he's got
Okay.
Team X, he's got Cable to play off of,
hmm
he's got Domino.
Yeah.
Um, and this one, this movie halfway worked for me. Because I think the dynamic with Deadpool and Wolverine is great. I mean, the way they
Absolutely.
play off each other, again, it reminds me a lot of kind of Cable. Like
Yeah.
Wolverine is kind of the very
Yeah. Yeah.
serious, gritty, gruff
hmm
kind of character, and Deadpool's just making jokes the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of need that balance, I feel like, with a movie like this.
Yeah.
And I think they really struck it pretty well. Ryan Reynolds, we all know he was born to play Deadpool. No
Yes.
one else could play him.
He even said it himself.
Yeah,
He read one of the comics, and one of the comics referenced him, like
yeah,
referenced Deadpool
that's
or
right.
referenced Ryan Reynolds,
Yes, yes.
and he was like, "I was born to play this role."
He was, for sure. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So he's great. Hugh Jackman, I mean, he's honestly one of my favorite actors. Just
Yeah.
I've seen him in, Greatest Showman, Les
hmm
Mis, The Prestige. He's done so many great movies over the course of his career, and he's always great. Um, and he's great as Wolverine. I mean, it's the most iconic character he's played. It's one of the most
Yeah.
iconic characters in movies, really, especially over the past couple decades. So, um, they're both great. They work really well. Their, back and forth is great. They're one of those great kind of odd couple pairings that a lot of great movies have. Um, to me, where the movie started to lose me because it starts off strong. It started off really with a great story. I thought like
hmm
this is going to be kind of about Deadpool really becoming a hero, and that kind of thing. And to me, it just kind of lost me by the end. So I don't
Yeah.
have a positive review of the movie overall, even though there's things about it I like. I didn't think the overall experience was as satisfying as I wanted it to be. What were your thoughts? Did you come out of this just super excited and pumped, or
Yes,
what? Yeah.
I
Okay.
was. I liked it a lot.
Cool. I think if you like the first two,
Yeah.
this is your kind. If that's your kind of humor, your kind of movie,
Mhm.
you're gonna feel the same way about this third one
Yes.
because it very much has that same kind of sensibility as far as the humor, the jokes, the pop culture references,
Yes.
all of that kind of stuff. So if you're into that, I feel like you're gonna come out of this, very happy. So, what score did you get? Are you full 5 stars on this, or where are
I
you
am
at?
full 5 stars. I
Okay,
liked it a lot.
so this is one of your favorites of the year.
Yeah, it is.
How about of the overall MCU? Where would you rank this? Is it like top 10
Probably,
or
yeah, top 10.
really?
Honestly, top three.
Really? Wow.
Yes. It's
Okay.
at least my
Okay.
third favorite MCU movie.
Okay.
My
And
favorite part about this movie is when Wolverine he pulls the
oh
calipers. That
man.
that was so cool. And
Yes.
then when they jump out of the bus,
Oh yeah.
that
That
was
image,
so
it's like right
cool.
out of a
Yes.
comic book.
Yes. I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
They
That was
did
so
stuff
cool.
like that I thought was really impressive too. As a comic book fan, you'll definitely get a lot out of this. If you've
Yes.
read any of the comics, if you've seen the animated series or anything like that, there are definitely moments that will make you want to stand up and cheer. So they nailed it on that level. Are you ready to just go through the movie and just talk about each
Yeah.
thing?
I'd
All
love
right.
to do that.
So 2018 is where we start. Wade Wilson uses cable time traveling device from his timeline, Earth 10005 is what we know
Yes.
now his
Yeah.
timeline is. And he jumps to Earth 616, which is the sacred timeline, the
Yes.
MCU main
Yes.
timeline. And there he meets none other than Happy Hogan. John
Yes.
Favreau is back. And that was a very
Hmm.
unexpected
Yeah,
surprise.
I was not
I
expecting
was
that.
so glad to see him back. I'm a huge fan of him as both an actor and a filmmaker, and the character Happy Hogan I just really like in all the Iron Man movies and the Spider-Man movies he
Yeah.
showed up in as well. And he wants to join the Avengers. That's kind of what
Yes.
Deadpool wants to do. That's kind of,
Hmm.
again, the storyline here is he's trying to really become a hero. He wants
Yeah.
to know, what does it take to become a hero? I want to be an Avenger. I want to matter. I want to kind of not just be a joke anymore. I want to really matter and come into this universe in a big way. So he's of course rejected because
Yes.
he just doesn't fit in with the
Hmm.
Avengers. But then we jump six years later, and Wade, he's now retired from being a superhero. He's just
Yes.
selling cars with
Yeah.
what's the guy's name? Peter? Is it
Peter
Peter?
W.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peter, who I like a lot. In Deadpool too, he was one of my favorite characters actually in
Hmm.
that movie, and I'm really glad they brought him back. So he's working as a used car salesman. He broke up with his girlfriend Vanessa, who's of
Yeah.
course in this as well. Marina
Hmm.
Baccarin is back as that character. And during his birthday party with, all of his friends that he kind of rescued, right?
Yeah.
Her, Blind Al is there, Shatterstar, Negasonic Teenage Warhead,
Yeah.
Colossus,
Hmm.
all those big characters that we know from the first two films.
Except Weasel. He wasn't there.
Oh, good
He
point.
wasn't there. That's so weird.
I think I heard something about that actor being in trouble. I
Oh,
think he, I
really?
think he like, I think I heard he called in a bomb threat on a train because a
What?
lady was annoying him on a train,
Oh,
and he got
that's so
arrested because there
weird.
wasn't actually a bomb on the train. So I think he's in
That's so
jail,
weird.
which
I
is kind
know.
of sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no Weasel this time.
Yeah.
But during his birthday party, the TVA, the Time Variance Authority,
Yes.
shows up, who we know from Loki. You've seen Loki,
I've
right?
seen Loki, yes. Twice, actually.
Loki was a show that I like a lot of things about Loki. I don't think the show as a whole worked for me, but the final episode, I think we talked about this
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite episodes. Favorite things really the MCU's ever done. What they
Yes.
did with the character of Loki was fantastic in that. So if you know Loki, you know the TVA. If you don't know Loki, you might be a little confused, but they kind
Yeah,
of
I'd say so.
explain it a little bit, I
I
guess.
figured I
So
figured they would.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. So anyways, they show up at his door. They take him to Mr. Paradox. This is a new character we haven't met
Yes.
before, who's kind of controlling his own little section of the TVA, kind of under the
Yeah.
radar. Doesn't want really people to know what's going on. He's really kind of our villain here. He's kind
Kind
of
of,
kind
yeah.
of ends up being one of the main villains at least. Um, and he offers Wade Wilson, here's, you can have a place in Earth 616. Come to the sacred timeline. You can have your place. But he reveals that Wade's timeline is deteriorating as a result of the death of Logan, who is revealed to be the anchor being of that timeline. So this is a new phrase that they've introduced, one of these sci-fi kind of
I honestly
terms.
think that's a really cool
It
idea
is a cool
that
idea.
there's
Yeah,
this one person that
right.
this universe revolves around. And if something happens to them, the whole universe just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, that was
So
a
yeah.
great concept.
Yeah.
I really like
Basically
that too.
after Logan,
Yeah.
the X-Men universe did end.
Basically, yeah, because we
Yeah.
got two more movies after them, but they didn't really do well. They kind
Yeah.
of just fell apart, you
Hmm.
know? So, yeah, it's a cool idea that kind of reflects the reality of what happened to the X-Men movies
Yeah.
after Logan. They kind of just fell apart. So, Of course, Wade, grabs the Tim pad, which is a device that allows him to travel across the multiverse to find a variant of Logan to pluck from some other timeline and bring to his timeline to save, the people he cares about.
Yes.
So that's the kind of premise. That's what sends us on this journey. And now we get this, of course he gets, suited up, which that was a great scene. And then as he begins jumping multiverses looking for Wolverines, this was
Yes.
one of my favorite sequences.
Yes.
So let's try to figure out who all we saw, because we see
There was comic accurate Wolverine,
the
which is
comic
the short Wolverine. The
yes,
short
he's like
Wolverine.
5'5".
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's all hairy,
Hmm.
and he's in a bar.
Yeah.
And that was a great moment, played by Hugh Jackman, but
Yes.
of course, digitally altered. Then there was I think my favorite one of them was Hugh Jackman in the brown suit
Yeah, that was cool.
fighting
Fighting Hulk.
Hulk,
Yes.
which I did
Yes.
not see coming at
No.
all. Fighting Hulk in the woods, that happens. That's actually the original appearance of Wolverine. A lot of people think
Yes.
he appeared first in the X-Men comics.
No.
He actually appeared in The Incredible Hulk as kind of a villain, really, someone to
Yeah.
fight Hulk.
Hmm.
So that was great to see. Then we get another one of my favorites, Henry
Cavalry.
Cavill.
Yes.
Henry
Cavalry.
Cavill. What? I did not see this coming either. Henry Cavill, who of course everyone knows as Superman from the Zack Snyder films, shows up as this super buff Wolverine on a motorcycle. It was insane. I did not see it
Yeah.
coming at all, chomping on a cigarette, or a
Yeah.
cigar. So that was a lot of fun. It was a very quick moment.
Hmm.
Again, a lot of these are pretty quick. They go by pretty fast. This
Yeah.
quick kind of montage as we're getting all the different Wolverines. We get Wolverine from the Age of Apocalypse storyline,
Right.
missing a
Yeah.
hand,
Yeah. Yeah.
much bigger hair. He's got
Hmm.
like the tank top with the red and blue.
Yeah.
That looked cool too. That was they had kind of a little fight scene actually,
Hmm.
which was
Yep.
pretty neat. Am I missing any other ones other than of
There's
course, the main
there's the
one?
Wolverine that was on an X. He was like
Oh
crucified.
yeah,
That
that's
was
from one of
weird.
the comics too.
Oh,
Yeah, it
really?
is one of the
That's
older, I
cool.
think from the 80s or 90s. That's a comic book.
Okay.
Yeah, with all the skulls on the ground and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was creepy. That's all the ones I can think of. I think
Yeah,
that's all the ones they did.
yeah, I think that's
Then
it
of
too.
course we get the main Logan that is going to be our kind of co co-lead of this film. Played, of course, again, as I said, by Hugh Jackman. He's just in normal clothes at a bar, drinking. We
Yeah,
don't really know why. Deadpool comes up to him, tries to recruit him, eventually gets him, knocks him unconscious,
yeah,
and then he kind of peeks under his clothes and he sees the yellow suit. He's like, that only took 20 years,
yeah.
you know?
Uh-huh.
So they grab him, bring him back to the TVA, um, and he learns that this particular version of the character is considered the worst of all the Wolverines because he
Yeah,
let his entire world down. Um, and he takes them and prunes them. So we know this idea of Loki, where the TVA police officers or whatever have
yeah.
these
The
sticks that
Minutemen. They're called
the
Minutemen.
Minutemen,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. When they hit you with these sticks, you're trapped in the void. You
Hmm.
you disappear and you go to this realm that's kind of outside of time and space where
Yeah.
they just dump all the garbage,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
It's kind of the junkyard of the universe.
Hmm.
So once they arrive there, they encounter none other than Chris Evans,
Yes.
who, I could tell it was Chris Evans. I could hear the voice,
Yeah, yeah. I heard
and
it
he's
too.
he's in a hood, but then you see his arm, and it's got red, white, and blue. He's got like a white thing,
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
blue suit, and then there's like a red sash or something. I'm like,
Hmm.
he's playing some version of Cap,
Yeah,
obviously. Nope, we were all wrong.
yeah.
He's playing none other than Johnny Storm from Fantastic Four, the Human
Probably
Torch.
his worst role, other than
Right,
not another teen movie.
right, exactly. I
Yeah.
agree. So he's back as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, who's kind of, trying to survive in this wasteland on the run from this character we're about to meet, called Cassandra Nova. So he's there. Wolverine and Deadpool are there. Wolverine and Deadpool also, they have a cool little fight scene as well,
Yeah.
as they kind of, hate each other. Neither of them really want to be there. But anyways, after that, they meet Johnny Storm. Then I call them the Mad Max crew because it's basically a
Yeah, yeah,
ripoff
yeah,
of
yeah.
Mad Max. And Deadpool mentions like
Yeah, yeah,
this is IP infringement, I think, or
yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. He says they come in and it's pyro. So Aaron Stanford
Yes.
from X-Men 2
Hmm.
and X-Men 3, he's in both
Yeah, yeah.
as Pyro. He's back as Pyro, same actor. Finally gets more comic accurate suit,
Hmm.
which that's a theme of this movie is they all get more
Yes.
comic
Yes,
accurate
yes,
suits,
yes.
which is cool. He's there with a crew of other people and Sabretooth.
Yes.
And it's
I think
Tyler
Toad is
Mane.
there as well.
Who's there?
Toad as well.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, Toad is there. Yeah, there's a few others once they get to the base that they
Yeah,
see
yeah.
there. But Sabretooth is there.
Hmm.
And it's Sabretooth from X-Men 1. It's not Liev Schreiber
Yes.
from X-Men
Yes,
Origins
yes, yes.
Wolverine. He's got the long hair, the beard, the whole thing. And Deadpool's like, all right, fans have been waiting for this for years. The rematch of the century,
Yes.
Wolverine versus Sabretooth, the big rivalry in the comics.
Yes.
And they run at each other, and Sabretooth's head falls off. It's like
Wolverine kills him instantly.
just one slash, and it's over. Um, so that was a great moment. I love, again, subverting
Yeah.
expectations. You expect this big fight, and it's ended up being nothing. But that was fun. Then they're taken to the base,
Hmm.
and the base is cool. We see it in the trailer. It's Ant-Man's head.
Yes. His whole body, actually.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You see his arms are
Hmm.
like the gates. Um, so they're
Ah,
there.
Paul Rudd finally aged.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was one of my favorite jokes in the movie. It was great. And then, so once they're there, they meet Cassandra Nova, who we learn is the twin sister of none other than Professor X himself. And that's where we see Toad. We
Hmm.
see Azazel
Yeah,
from
yeah.
X-Men First Class. Lady Deathstrike is
Hmm.
in there from
Juggernaut.
X2. Juggernaut,
Juggernaut.
a totally new actor playing
Yeah,
Juggernaut,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he mentions that. He's like, "You're
Yeah,
this
yeah.
week's Juggernaut,"
Yeah.
So there was there, and a whole kind of gaggle of other like little minions, around.
Yeah.
And so she basically, well, the first thing she does is she disintegrates Johnny Storm.
Yes. Rips his
Disin-
skin off and
right.
then disintegrates him
Yeah, exactly.
because apparently he says some harsh things about her.
Right, exactly.
Well, Deadpool says
He said
she says,
harsh things about
yeah,
her.
yeah,
We
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
see that
No.
until the post-credit
So,
scene.
yeah, yeah. We think he's totally lying, but
Right.
he's not.
Exactly. So they have this huge bite or this huge fight, and she says that she made a deal with the TVA to stay willingly in the void, and leaves them to be destroyed by Alioth, who's this huge reptilian creature that kind of consumes everything in the
Wait,
void.
is it Alioth or Eliath?
Alioth, sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
Alioth. Yes,
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I meant. That's what
Uh-huh.
I meant. Yes, Alioth from the comic books. So they escape, of course. They're kind of just wandering the void. They end up
Hmm.
meeting Nice Pool and
Yes,
Dog Pool.
Dogpool.
These variants of Deadpool. One, of course, played by Ryan Reynolds again with long hair and a much kind of shinier suit, and then this, ugly looking dog that they
Yeah.
called that Dog Pool. So they're wandering. They're looking for the resistance. They hear about this resistance that fights against Cassandra Nova and her crew. Logan and Wade have this huge argument back and forth, leading to a fight that leaves them both unconscious. So they both end up in this van, making their way. They have a big fight inside the van, which is a really well choreographed
Yeah.
fight inside that van. Very small scale battle, kind of claustrophobic fight. Then they wake up and they're in this underground fortress of some kind. And who walks in? But Jennifer Garner as Elektra, Wesley Snipes as Blade,
Yes.
and Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Yes.
So, for those who don't know, Jennifer Garner played Elektra in both Daredevil and her own standalone Elektra movie back in the early
Yes.
2000s. Wesley Snipes, of course, originated the role of Blade back in the
Hmm.
90s. 98 was when his first Blade movie came out. He made three of them, one of them with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
He's in the third one. And then a lot of people, I think, will be confused about why Channing Tatum is Gambit, but
Yeah.
for a long time, for like at least 4 or 5 years, he was in talks to play Gambit in a standalone Gambit movie.
Yeah.
He was even at Comic-Con in 2015, a year after Days of Future Past came out. He was there, introduced, here's our new Gambit, here's Channing Tatum. He came out on stage, like everyone
Yeah.
cheered. So this was a thing that was going to happen
Hmm.
that never happened.
I think after Days of Future Past, they were gonna do a whole X-Men Fantastic Four
Mm,
Deadpool universe, kind
That's
of,
right.
but never went anywhere.
It was
I
going to
mean, they
be
made the Fantastic Four movie, but that's not like connected in any way. So
no, and it totally failed at the box office, so
yeah.
they didn't end up making any more, unfortunately. I think he would have been great as Gambit.
Hmm.
Here, he's playing a version of Gambit that's very close to the animated series. Very thick Cajun accent. You can barely understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's got the comic accurate suit with the purple and the trench coat and the headgear and the bow staff, the gloves. I mean, he's decked out exactly like
Yes.
Gambit looks in the animated series. So, as a fan of Gambit, and he's my second favorite of the X-Men characters.
Okay.
He's so cool, and I think Channing Tatum could have played a great Gambit. Here, there's a lot of evidence of that. Again, I think they're playing it up for comedy, obviously, in this movie.
Yeah.
But if they had done a more serious take on it in a movie of his own, I think it could have been great. So
Hmm.
super fun to see them back. Then lastly, the one who walks in is Daphne Keene as Laura Kinney,
Right.
X-23.
Yeah.
And she's kind of revealed as kind of the leader of this group
Hmm.
who's formed this, team to kind of fight against Cassandra Nova in the Void. And so, of course, they all end up teaming up. Wolverine doesn't want anything to do with it. Laura ends up coming out and having a conversation with him about how he was her hero and that whole thing, what
Yeah.
happened in Logan. So he ends up joining them, of course, at the end. And huge battle ensues again
Hmm.
back in the Ant-Man fortress. Huge action sequence with all those characters using all their different
Yes.
abilities and gear and just some really well executed action scenes right there. I
Yes.
mean, just great stuff. Gambit using throwing the cards, all the different gear that Blade is using and Elektra with all her martial arts. It was just really well done. So they're there because they want to get Juggernaut's helmet because Juggernaut's helmet can prevent Cassandra Nova from using her telepathic abilities.
Yeah.
So that's the whole goal. They end up doing that, getting the helmet on her.
I think that's why Juggernaut wears the
That's exactly
helmet in the
right.
comics as well to keep like Charles or anyone with telepathic powers
Yeah.
from getting in his
And
head.
and
That's why he wears
Charles
that.
Charles is his stepbrother in the comics.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's why he knows, oh, I need this helmet to protect
Hmm.
myself. So yeah, that was really well done. I liked how they brought all that together. Cassandra is betrayed and injured by Pyro, who secretly is working for Mr. Paradox.
Yes.
So there's kind of a betrayal double cross that goes on there. Logan convinces Wade to remove the helmet, allowing Cassandra to heal and open a portal back to Wade's timeline using Doctor Strange's sling
Yes.
ring, which was a cool moment
Yes.
too. So we get that portal. They jump through the portal. They arrive in Earth 0005. Wade and Logan find that Paradox is using the Time Ripper, a device developed to mercy kill timelines, and which he plans to use on Wade's timeline without permission from his superiors. Cassandra quickly learns this from Pyro before executing him, arrives through another portal, and kidnaps Paradox. She then plans to take control of the Time Ripper to destroy all timelines, leaving only the Void. So she basically wants to be in charge of everything.
Yeah.
So there'll just be the Void. Um, Cassandra then summons an army of Deadpool variants.
Yes.
So
The
this,
Deadpool core.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're called. So this this scene was crazy because we get so many different versions of Deadpool. I mean, I don't know how many are in the comics, but it felt like as many as we see in the comics, we see in the movie because there's literally an army that walks through this portal. Lady Pool is kind of
Yes.
leading the charge, and I think I heard she was voiced by Blake Lively, who's married to Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds.
Pretty sure.
That I think was
Yeah.
her. You get like a cowboy pool, you get like all these samurai
Mhm.
pool, like every different version you could think of the character is in the scene. And this is when that moment happens
Yes.
where Wolverine comes out, his he's been blown up, so his sleeves are ripped off. He's got
Yes.
the no sleeves look. He's got Deadpool with the double gold plated guns.
That he stole from Nice Boy.
That's right. Yes.
Which he killed,
That's
kind of.
right. Yeah, I kind of killed
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
He acted like he wasn't killing him, but he was
Yeah,
killing
yeah,
him.
yeah.
And then Wolverine puts on the mask, which just
Yes.
looked fantastic. I mean, it really
Yes.
they did a great job. The white eyes, like the whole
Hmm.
thing, it looked exactly like the comics. So they have a big battle with all the dead, and there's this great shot of the camera kind of panning across the street
Yes.
as we just see Deadpool and Wolverine just mowing them down. It's really incredible. A great shot in the movie. Paradox tells Wade and Logan that one can disrupt the power flow of the Time Ripper at the cost of their life. So here's the big moment. You know, they kind of defeat all the, well, if they don't defeat the Deadpools, Peter comes in and really helps
Yeah,
them
yeah, yeah,
defeat
yeah.
the Deadpool. They get
Hmm.
distracted by Peter. They all love Peter, so they're all huddled around him, and Deadpool and Wolverine kind of sneak around, go find the Time Ripper, and they get down there, and Paradox tells them how to, you know, destroy it. But it's gonna kill you basically. It doesn't matter if you can heal or not. It's gonna
Yeah.
destroy you. So using their bodies as conductors,
Yes.
Deadpool's first in there by himself. He can't reach the other one. Wolverine ends up getting inside, grabbing him. Of course, the shirt comes off as it has
Yes.
to, you know, in all these
Yes.
movies. And they directly make fun of that, which I thought
Hmm.
was great. And they're both holding on to each other, destroying this machine, and they end up destroying it. They kill Cassandra because she's connected to it. They kill
Yeah.
her. Um, and then Paradox is arrested by Hunter B-15, who we know from Loki.
Hmm.
She's kind of, you know, the one in charge of the TVA now.
Yeah.
And so she comes in. She's like, "What have you been doing?" She arrests him, and he, of course, tries to play it like he was, you know, an innocent victim and all this. And then what ends up happening? He comes back. They didn't die. They
Yeah.
didn't die. Deadpool and Wolverine are still around. So they come around the corner. They're okay somehow. I don't think that was ever really explained, like how they, I guess
Yeah.
they just
I don't
healed or
know.
whatever. I don't know.
Probably.
That was a part of it that I was kind of confused about. But anyways, they come back and they let him know that their actions have prevented the timeline from deteriorating. And they request that B-15 frees the others from the void before asking if it's possible to rewrite the history of Logan's timeline. And she replies that it was his history that made Logan the hero needed to stop Cassandra, and there is nothing to fix. So the version of Wolverine that we've been with through this whole movie kind of just wishes to retire and live a peaceful life, and he's taken back to Wade's home to kind of just live and have fun. And they end up partying with
Yeah.
all their good buddies again.
Hmm.
And Wade kind of rekindles his romance with Vanessa. Happy ending.
Yeah.
There we go.
And all is well.
All is well in the universe. So let me just mention a few things here. It's really, again, like I mentioned, it's the ending that kind of falls apart for me. First of all, I don't really get how they survive. They specifically say you're going to die if you go in there. I know they
Well,
can both
maybe
heal,
Paradox
but
lied though.
that's
Maybe he
true.
lied.
That's true. He could have just been lying to him, said
Hmm.
in order to avoid them from going in. He
Yeah.
may say,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're gonna die if you go do that." They didn't really play it that way in the movie, but maybe that's the explanation for it. The the happy ending. Look, I like happy endings, but I still feel like the movie sets up Deadpool sacrifice. It's really, to me, it sets
Yeah.
that up because it's all about, again, I'm not a hero, I'm just a joke. Wolverine has that whole speech to him, you know,
Hmm.
how immature he is and how he doesn't care about anybody. So to me, that he tried to save everyone, knowing he might die, is a great thing. But I
Yeah.
kind of almost would have preferred maybe if he did die, and maybe we got another variant of Deadpool in the MCU. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know what they should have done to fix that, but to me, it just didn't quite hit as hard as I wanted it to.
Yeah.
But again, I have to remember these movies first and foremost are comedies, so they're
Yeah.
not really going for like a big emotional payoff necessarily at the end.
Yeah.
So, um, do you
Well,
want to talk anything about the ending that
yeah,
you
yeah.
like
But
or didn't
before
like?
that,
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds said that before he makes a comedy, he
Mm.
wants to make a good story, and
Yeah.
once he finds a good story,
Right.
he then makes a comedy.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So it has the mix. It has the story in there.
Mhm.
I just feel like the ending wasn't the strongest part of the story, I guess is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the uh the ending's good. I also feel like another problem I have with the ending is it doesn't really set up X-Men in the MCU. I feel like they're
Really?
still in their own timeline, and it kind of like I was expecting Deadpool to interact with Thor or something. Like, and
Maybe.
we see like that little scene of him and Thor,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what's
Oh,
he
yeah.
got, you
Yeah.
know?
Uh-huh.
I wanted more of that. I wanted more of like, I get it was cool that the TVA was involved in this story. I just felt like I kind of almost wanted like the end of Iron Man 1, like Nick Fury comes in and is like,
Yeah.
I want you to be an Avenger or something like
Mhm.
that. That would have been more like, oh, now how's that going to play into the next thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So that to me was a little bit of a letdown. But again, we'll have to see where it goes in the future. I mean, at
Yeah.
Comic-Con this week, I don't know. Did you hear all the announcements they made?
No.
Okay,
Again, what
I've got I've
announcements
got to
did they
share
make?
these with you because this is pretty crazy.
Okay.
First of all, anything else you want to say about Deadpool and Wolverine and get your
It
thoughts
was
out
a great
there?
movie.
You just
I
really enjoyed it?
really
Yeah,
enjoyed it. Yeah.
good. It's making tons of money, so we don't need to
Yes,
tell
yes,
anyone to
yes.
go see it
No.
because everyone's going to see it
Yeah, yeah.
anyway. Real quick. So they titled the Fantastic Four. It's now titled First Steps is the
Oh,
subtitle.
okay.
Um, they revealed the Thunderbolts poster, which
That
is
looks like
interesting.
the Walmart symbol.
I know, right? Yeah, that's what I
What
thought
is
too.
that?
Well, when I looked at this, the full title, I think it's an asterisk,
Oh,
which means
what
that
is that for
it
anyways?
means that that's not the real title.
What
Kevin
is it gonna
Feige
be
was
called then?
he was asked, "What is this the real title? What does the asterisk mean?" He's like, "You have to just watch the movie." He wouldn't tell anyone what it is. Some people think
Okay.
they're actually going to end up being the Dark Avengers, which could be a cool
Oh,
idea.
that's cool.
Um, so Avengers, right? We know all of our
Yes,
Avengers
yes, yes, yes,
movies.
yes, yes.
They announced the next one, which originally was going to be Kang Dynasty.
I still think it should be, but
They changed
oh
it.
well.
They changed the title. You know what the
Really?
new title is?
No.
Avengers Doomsday.
Oh my gosh.
Guess who? Well, guess what
That's
they're gonna
cool.
do? Do you know what they're gonna do?
Doctor Doom is the villain
Do
of
you
the
know who's
movie.
gonna play Doctor Doom?
No, I don't. Who?
Robert Downey Jr.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yes. He's coming back
That's not
as a
out of
variant.
all the
Yeah.
characters or out of all the actors that could play Doctor Doom, they pick Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Isn't
That's
that
so
crazy?
crazy.
He's gonna be a variant, I guess, of Tony Stark in this universe.
Actually, I believe there's a variant of Doctor Doom that
There
is
is, you're right, in the
Iron Man.
comics.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah,
So
that's
this
very
actually
true.
kind of makes sense.
Kind of makes sense. It fits.
Pretty cool.
And then, of course, the final one is Secret Wars. That's been
Yes.
announced a long time ago,
New
but new logo
new
there.
logo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
new
yeah.
new coloring there. They
That's cool.
did officially also announce that those are the Russo brothers that's going to be directing,
Okay,
who
cool.
did Endgame and
Yeah, yeah,
Infinity
yeah.
War and all that. So
Mhm.
big stuff coming for Marvel fans. I
Yes.
mean, this is pretty
I think
crazy.
Marvel's picking back up.
It seems like it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
certainly, with the huge financial success of Deadpool and Wolverine, they're back on track to be, back to being the dominant kind of franchise out there. So very curious to see what they end up doing moving forward. Again, when are we going to see Deadpool next? When are we going to see Wolverine next? Who knows? Who knows? But I'm sure it'll be sometime in the near future. The Secret Wars comics, that includes every character. They did confirm
Yes.
also that both the Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four will be in Avengers, Doomsday, and
Okay.
Secret Wars. And
Okay.
Doctor Doom will be the villain in both movies as well.
Okay, cool. Is
So
he
it's
the main villain in Secret Wars?
in Secret Wars, Doom plays a
Oh
major
no, the main
role, but
villain
it's
in Secret Wars is Beyonder.
Beyonder.
Is he
Yeah.
gonna be in it?
They didn't announce anything
Okay,
about Beyonder.
he should be in it. He's the main villain,
I don't
so
know. We'll see. They might end up changing it up and just making it Doctor Doom. I don't know.
yeah.
So we'll stay tuned for all of that, folks. Let us know what you guys think about Deadpool and Wolverine in the comics. Are you sided more with me? Weren't really into it? Are you with Anthony? Loved every second of it? Let us know. Again, it kind of your mileage may vary depending on what kind of humor you like and what kind of movie you're looking for. So let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you follow both of us on Letterboxd. We're both there. Anthony has his own YouTube channel as well. I'll link
Yes.
that in the
Yes, yes, yes.
description below. So yeah, really, really glad you guys joined us. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos, and we'll see you next time right here on The Real World.